Nice
The
solid
thing's
oak
solid.
piece of
Yeah.
okay.
Like if someone were to break in my
Mahogany.
house, if someone were to break into my house, bro, these are ninja stars. Like
Yeah.
this will buy me some time. Like pow,
Double
pow.
up.
Yeah,
Yep.
because
Yep.
I'm like when like anyone growing up, like if someone breaks in my house, I immediately go into three ninjas mode, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm tum
And
tum
where
up in
your
here,
throwing
bro.
stars at. Hey, what's up, CBG fam? Thanks for tuning into this episode. As always, we are brought to you by our sponsors. That is Fearless Nonprofit. Fearless Nonprofit is a growing outreach ministry that seeks to fearlessly treat the world in a way that encourages love, family, and faith in Jesus. And very exciting, out now is their biblically based trading card game, Victory 7. Yes, the one that we have been talking about is available now. So if you want to learn more about this ministry, or if you'd like to pick up the game, go to fearlessnonprofit.org. We also are sponsored by Camp Living Waters, the one, the only Camp Living Waters located in Luther, Michigan, that is home of the Game Changer Board Gaming Retreat. Man, they have so much to offer there, and it's an amazing place to get away in God's presence. So if you want to learn more about them or sign up for a retreat, check them out at camplivingwaters.org. You can follow both of our sponsors on their socials on Facebook and Instagram. Huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors.
Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, where we focus on Jesus, community, and board games. Let's have some fun.
What is up? You are listening to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, proud members of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. My name is Joe Bragg, and as always, I am here with my dear brother Ray. Ray, how you doing, man?
We are in it. We are in it tonight, Joseph. Yes. Hey, I'm doing fantastic, man.
Good.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, as always. I'm excited to be here. Season 5, episode 42, New Year 26. Man, we are here.
That's good. I'm glad you know what episode we're on, because I was expecting you to say episode 1 of season 5, but you said episode 5, 42, and at first I was like, I thought this was 1, but no, you were like counting all of our episodes, which is crazy.
In totality, this is episode 1 of season 5, starting fresh. But yeah, if anybody's keeping track, we're at number 42, which I think is pretty amazing.
It is.
Considering we were just trying to make it to 10, and now here we are.
Bam. I mean, the fact that this is working at all is proof that God is doing
listening,
things.
not just us. It's not just us listening to ourselves. It's crazy,
Correct.
man. God is real and alive, and He's at work. I'll tell you that.
No doubt. Absolutely. 100%. But if you are listening, thank you so much for doing that. We really do appreciate it. And we do want to also mention, I know you heard it in the sponsors, but wanted to note that Camp Living Waters is coming up here with our Game Changer Retreat. It's March 27th through 29th. Registration is open. It is $90 a person. That's going to get you lodging, food, gaming, worship sessions, messages, just pure fellowship. Fantastic experience. And when I say food, this isn't your run-of-the-mill like camp food, man. Bo at Camp Living Waters, they hook it up, man. I don't know what's on the menu, but usually there's some level of smoked meats and delicious stuff. It's just a lot of
meat, you say?
Yes, very, very good.
Boy.
He usually makes these really great tacos that, they're so good. And so, really want to encourage you. You can go to camplivingwaters.org. So that's camplivingwaters.org. And then you just click on the winter retreats, or you can do the whole / game changer thing. But you'll find it right on camplivingwaters.org. But really, you want to encourage you. It's in Luther, Michigan. So if you're in the Michigan area, you're Indiana, Wisconsin, heck, if you want to fly from the UK, whatever you want to do, join us. It's going to be a fantastic time. So that's the Game Changer Board Gaming Retreat in March 27th to the 29th. That was a completely unscripted read. That was amazing.
That was great. Hey, the sun might even be out at that point. So who knows, man?
Who knows?
It might be nice. Or you might want to bring your snowsuit because it's up north a little bit. You never know in Michigan.
Never know. The sun was out today, but it was like, hey, I'm still -10, but hi. It's like
it was like a cruel trick. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, the sun's out. This is great. I get outside. My car said -5. And I was like, what? How do these things go hand in hand? It makes no sense.
None. We did get to 20, like heat wave. We got to
Yeah.
20. Someone
Yeah, it
told me
was
today,
hot.
they're like, oh, I'm excited. We're going to be in the 20s next week. Like, I can't wait. And I'm like, it is so crazy that it has been that cold that once we get into the 20s, we're excited about it.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day, but that's true Midwestern Michigan weather for you.
Yeah.
We'll see people in shorts when we hit 30s.
I was all excited. Now you're going to hear this, and I'll already be back from Tantrum Con in North Carolina. But I leave on Wednesday to go down there and be on mission. Really excited about that. But I was like, oh, sweet, North Carolina, like it's going to be like warmer. And they're like, nah, we're going to have this winter storm. We're going to get a ton of snow. And I was like, but it said like 40s, and now it's like, oh, it's going to sleet. And I'm like, no, I am leaving Michigan to go to North Carolina. And Charlotte, like we're not in the mountains of mountains, right? Like we're in Charlotte, and I'm like, it's so I'm hoping that when you hear this and the trip is already over, I'm like, man, it was 70 degrees and sunny. That, I mean, obviously it's not going to be that, but we're hoping for good weather. Yeah, we're hoping for good weather.
I hope that for you, because it seems inescapable right now. It doesn't matter if you go to Florida. You know, the team at YFC just came back from Florida. They said it was 35 down there.
That's just crazy.
It is. It's crazy. Like you're near the equator.
Yeah.
It's 35 degrees at the equator, Joe. Nuts.
No, right.
Nuts.
Which, again, we're recording this on February 1st, and that means tomorrow is Groundhog Day. We always say Groundhog's Day, but it's only one hog, right? It's Puxatony Phil. There's only one of them, right? It's not like they don't
one hog out there.
They just like get up and they're like, "Hey, we're the hogs," and they just start having a conversation. I think it's gonna be winter. But
maybe they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes, and they actually have just a whole den full of groundhogs. They just pull one out. That's why it's a Freudian slip that they say hogs, even though they say it's the same Puxatony Phil.
Right,
you know?
Unless they're saying that he owns the day, and it's the apostrophe S, and it's like literally ownership, and they're like, "This is Groundhog's Day."
That's why you're the guy, Joe.
Right.
That's why you're the guy.
This is the day the Lord has made, not the groundhog. That's all I'm saying. But, man, we put a lot of stake in that little dude and his shadow. And I can never remember it. It's like if he sees his shadow, it's winter forever. If he doesn't, it, like, changes. Like, I don't know.
It doesn't matter if you're in Michigan. It's just winter forever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's winter at least until June.
But here's the question that I posed offline before we get on here. Like, have we made Puxatony Phil an idol in this country now? Because we're essentially bowing to whatever he says with the weather. Like, are we any different than the guys of the ancients back in the day that worship like the sun gods and were like, it's gonna rain? So we're looking at somebody has a carved image of a groundhog in their house, and they're like,
Please, Phil, make it not snow. Please, Puxatony Phil. I beg you. I have given you my grain offering. I will need you to make it not snow anymore. You just see people bowing down to a groundhog statue.
Okay, hold on. But this is like funny. But that's what people were doing when they talk about the household gods. Like when they say Rachel to
Let me
the
get more
household
serious.
gods, and like I know it's hard, but it's funny to think about, like somebody bowing down to a little carved statue of a groundhog. But that's really literally, think about how nutty that is, man. That they were like bowing down to images, carved idols and statues that they had sitting on a shelf in their house, and that was their god that they believed was going to do something for them. Like, man.
And now it's even more metaphorical, because your God can be anything. It can be money. It can be food. It can be so many different things that we bow down and worship to on the regular basis.
Quick. Didn't even mean to. Didn't even mean to.
Well, once it was jovial, and then it just turned and went, wow. Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers podcast, where we've stated for years, anything can happen. You don't know what to expect.
Hey,
but
2026 is going to be a deep year.
And I just want to tell you, if you have a statue of a groundhog in your house, get rid of it. All right, kill
Even
the
for joking
idols.
purposes, we want you to burn it. Okay,
burn it. Burn it. So it doesn't actually matter what that thing says. I don't know. He sees a shadow and he's like, oh, it's gonna be winter. I don't know, or spring. I don't know. I don't even know. I didn't even research this. This is whatever. So whatever. Something happens tomorrow. It's apparently his day. I ain't buying it. We're going.
He's probably labeled as a legit weatherman, because they're never really right.
Right. I was gonna say
so
he's got the
probably
same
has
success
the credentials.
Rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And here's Puxatony Phil with the weather. It's gonna snow. Like whatever, man. I said it's going. I said it's
I
going to be
just
winter for
pictured
6 more months.
the Cleveland show. Wasn't the Cleveland show with the weatherman? It's gonna rain.
It's going to rain.
Just like every time. All right.
Oh. Things we don't condone on our end is like we have a past, guys. Like there was a time, the Family Guy was a show I watched, and then I came to Christ. It was like, hold on, man, this is
sometimes
not good.
things are just funny. I'm sorry.
No,
man.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
The Lord made laughter.
That is one of the funny things. It's gonna rain.
Yeah,
that's Tony Phil.
All right.
Anywho, yeah, good. If you're still listening to us and you're 8 minutes into this episode, thank you. I want to segue here a little bit into something that I received recently. I'm going to try and get this on the screen here. Cover my face. Woo! From Modern Meeple. This thing is
Modern Meeple.
Fire.
Tell me about it.
I will. So this you have your card slots up here, so you can put some cards. You got some cool like resource trays. Obviously, you have these resource like Vanna White, but like backwards. Can you see? You have these resource trays here. If you're not watching us on YouTube, now would be a cool time to go check what that is. But what's really cool about this is that I can actually take these resource trays right out, which I like, so I can use them for different games. They don't have to be attached to the larger tray. But what also is cool is that we have a partnership here with LTN. So as you can see on there down on the bottom, it's got the LTN logo. They will actually put that on there for nothing. All you have to do when you make your order is in the checkout, there's a little coupon section, and you just say LTN, you just all caps LTN, and they will actually do a free etching onto that. And I think that's really cool of them.
That's awesome.
But I just want to say I was blown away with how high quality this is.
What are they made out of? It almost looks like kind of like a hard rubber.
No, it's a wood. Like it's like
okay.
I'm not a particle board, but it kind of has that look a little bit to it. But like this bad boy.
Nice solid oak
solid
piece of
okay. Like if someone were to break in my house, if someone were to break into my house, bro, these are ninja stars. Like this will buy me some time. Like pow. Yeah, because I'm like like anyone growing up, like if someone breaks in my house, I immediately go into 3 ninjas mode, right? Like I'm Tum Tum up in here, bro. Yeah, like Rocky loves Emily, and then Tum Tum just like, I'm gonna beat these bad guys up, and I'm like, I had to tell my kids like that ain't real. Like, we already talked about that. We covered it in the Christmas episode with Macaulay Culkin. Same thing in 3 Ninjas. But, 3 Ninjas is literally Home Alone.
Though, in your childhood.
Yeah, 3 Ninjas is literally Home Alone meets Dumb and Dumber. That's all that is, and The Karate Kid. But a great classic film, Classic. So again, the quality of this is very, very high, which I'm very impressed with. So you can go to modernmeeple.com and you can see they got like almost like a Lazy Susan kind of thing. I think they call it the Gamey Susan or something like that. I don't remember what the full title is, but it can spin around, have resources.
I hope it's the Gamey Susan. That sounds like a good title for
right.
If it's not.
But either way, super high quality components. If you're looking to add something like, I don't know, for sometimes for gamers, it's hard to get a gift because you don't know what game to get them or whatever. Like these kind of these types of trays are really sweet. They even have stuff for dice throne, where like they literally have like a full board that you can put all your dice throne stuff in. It's very fire, very cool.
That's awesome. So do those specific ones that you just showed us, do they come in any other colors, or is that just like the one stock color?
No, they have all the colors, right? So I just grabbed yellow. I grabbed yellow.
Specific.
Correct. And so I have, I got a number of them, but they have like black, blue, purple, red, green, yellow.
That's awesome.
So I think they have a brown one. Like you can get just about any color you want. But
have you got to use them yet?
Yeah, man. We used them with our boys. We played like Century Golem when we first got it. Normally Century Golem has like a thing that you can hold your resources in, but really it's just 10 resources, so you know what it is. So but it was really nice having your cards up on the top, and just being able to throw your resources in there. And what I like is this one, like this split here, because when I was like gonna buy cards, I could put certain resources together in this, and then I would use my shield of cards to kind of divert people so they couldn't necessarily see what I was building towards,
Yeah, that's sweet.
So it's just really fun, man. Like that a lot. And even if you take out the trays, this went a little longer than I wanted, and you have this space that's like right there, like you can put a player mat in there or something. If you wanted to, just to have a card holder or something. So I don't know, really cool. I like it a lot. It's a neat accessory, and again, just something cool if you're looking for some more stuff. But the quality is ridiculous. It's so
Modern
good.
Meeple, making practical throwing stars for your gaming table. Yeah,
So
I
while
like
you're
it.
gaming, if someone breaks in, you're like, yeah. So all right. So that was great. Yeah, we were just thinking, we're like, man, we ended with our Christmas episode, which was
Hmm.
wonky, and we had a lot of fun in that. And
Wonky is one way to put
wonky's
it.
one way to put it. Yep, yep. And now we're in a new year, and so a lot of times what happens, new year, new vision, new season, kind of a way to regroup. Not necessarily like New Year's resolution stuff, but a lot of times, and again, we can get into all the cool, fun conspiracy stuff. I think every one of us knows the actual New Year is in like April when it's like new life, and
What?
I know. We'll
Are you
have fun
saying
with
that there
that.
should be 12
13 months.
consecutive?
Yeah.
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 Okay. With 28 equal days that are in a lunar cycle? Joe, what are you talking about here? Come on.
Look,
I'm just
hey,
hearing this.
tap in, man. If you guys haven't
Are
figured
you
that
saying
out.
October really isn't the 8th month, even though it says Oct?
Huh.
That's weird.
Yeah, and we
Okay.
just make it the 10th, and it's so
Yeah.
bizarre. Yeah, I
Are
know.
you saying July is the? Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
I didn't say all those things, but I said all those things. So we know that that's not how this works.
Uh huh.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. However, in the calendar system that we are currently operating in, we know that January generally tends to be a place where a lot of times people regroup, they refocus.
Yeah.
And Ray and I were talking about how that was true for us in some different ways. Ray and his wife have a tradition that we're going to kind of talk through, and then we're going to talk through some of the things that we've done with our boys, and my wife and I and our and how we've been planning and all that kind of stuff. And we really were just talking about how important this is for us as husbands and families to be able to be good stewards of what God has given us as it relates to our time and
Amen.
our families themselves, as our families are a blessing and a gift.
Yep.
But our time, we're to make the most of our time because the days are evil. The scripture is pretty explicit on this. And so we want to kind of talk through some of that because we really feel like we want to encourage individuals who are out there and maybe kind of share what we were feeling or some things and why we've gone directions that we've gone, but also just to be able to lean into our walk as Christ followers. Now, again,
Yep.
Ray and I obviously we're going to be speaking from the husband perspective, but we also have our wives' perspectives to be able to share as well, kind of through this conversation. So we're kind of reversing it. Normally, we'll talk about games and then we'll get into some of the faith stuff. At this time, we're going to make you guys wait for the games, but we'll just give you a spoiler. We're going to talk about Echoes of Time and Explorers of Navoria. But first, we want to talk about the meat of this, and so that it wasn't just tacked on at the end. If anything's going to get tacked on, it can be those games, because
Yeah.
this is what matters. So, Ray, I am excited. I was trying not to use your word, so I stuttered there. I'm excited, Ray, to hear about what you and Kim do on the regular each year. So, if you want to share a little bit about that, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I would love to. So this started about 5 years ago, and it was after we had some challenges in our family planning that we actually got away, and we just needed some time to get away. But it was at the beginning of the year, and it was like a reset, and that ended up turning into our annual marriage retreat,
Mm.
which we have found to be so valuable. And it came off the back end, like I said, of something hard during a time when we first got married, but then also while we were away, we maximized on that time and took some of our premarital counseling. The pastor talked about a couple that he knew that did, like, every 6 months they would do a marriage check-in and basically have a meeting and say, like, how am I doing in this? And they had a whole worksheet that they would work down. And he was like, you don't maybe have to be that legal about it, but it's good to check in. And so we just took that time, got away in a cabin down in Tennessee, out near Gatlinburg, actually Sevierville, up in the mountains, man. Great at the beginning of the year because nobody's there too. And it was just quiet, peaceful in the mountains. And the whole ride down there was great. We talked about just whatever, it was just a great time of fellowship with me and my wife. And then when we were there, we really just chilled in the cabin, finished up some work for her business, created a vision board, what we want to do for the next year, and how we did in our first year of marriage and what was going right. So that turned into an annual thing. So for past 5 years, we've been at the same cabin in
Mm.
Tennessee, going down there as a tradition. This year, we were going to switch it up, and man, it's just this is a provision of God that I see, like God coming in and taking control and just being good how he always is. Because normally at the beginning of the month, we have the same cabin that we go to. We book it during like, these days and it's
Yeah.
all good. Well, we had friends who moved down to Tennessee and we were like, hey, let's switch it up this year. Let's go visit them. Let's stay somewhere different, see something different. But we couldn't make up our mind. And we literally waited until the day before I had vacation time put in. And the day before I had vacation time put in, there was a winter weather advisory that happened for the South. And they said that
Uh-huh.
there's going to be a big storm coming through and there's going to be ice and power outages. And we were like, you know what? Let's not go all the way down to Tennessee then. So we actually got a cabin here in Michigan, which
Okay.
was great. We went to Irons, Michigan, so we did something different, which also was cool too because this is the first year of us being parents, and so I think worked out to be better to have a 2 hour drive instead of an 8 hour drive with a baby.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, so same deal though. Went and the big thing for us to start our year off fresh is to look at the year behind us and say, what did we do well in our marriage? What could we do better in our marriage? I asked my wife, how was I as a husband? What things did you not get from me? What things do you want me to do better for you this year? How do you think our communication was? How do you think this was? And we kind of just go down the list. There's a hot tub there, and so we would put Ellie to bed and go sit in the hot tub, man,
Yeah.
and it was beautiful. It was like 10 degrees out. There's the snow-covered trees all around us. The stars and the moon is out, and we're like in this hot tub. It's 104 degrees, and my hair's froze from being wet, but like my legs are hot. And I can't
Yeah.
decide if I want to stay in the tub or get out because it's like two different
Yeah. Yeah.
extremes on both ends. But no, man, it was just great time of having this conversation of like, who are we? Who are we now with having a child, and how has that shaped
Mm.
us, and where our marriage is at? A perfect time to be able to have hard conversations because we create the space for it, right? Like
Yeah.
this is what we do on the retreat. It's all about who we are, how we're doing in our walks with God, and how we can get better, what we want to do as a family. Like we created a family creed, who we
Yeah.
want our family to be and be known for, and like what we're going to tell our children that's going to define kind of who we are in different seasons of our life. So just doing the work, and it's a lot easier to do it when you know that you have that space, like you create it to say this is what it's for, than to try to just spring up and maybe have a hard conversation that's not going to go well because you're like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
But when you intentionally make that time, we found that it's just so, like I said, valuable to us. And especially for looking ahead for this year, like
Yeah.
what do we want to do for 2026? What do we want to create? Who do
Mm.
we want to be? What are the things, like I said, that we need to work on in our marriage, but outside of our marriage individually? What goals do we have? We even create vision boards for that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, man, it's just really a wonderful time to end the previous year and to look at the year ahead and see where we're going and who we're going to become. And a great time of prayer and inviting God into our marriage and into our lives, and recentering our lives on Him as we submit to Him and as we submit to one another. And so it also is great too because through the winter, like this is kind of the halfway point I feel of like the winter, and it's
Yeah.
usually you get tired of being in the house and stuff. So getting away for a weekend, 3, 4, 5 days, whatever you can do, breaks it up, and getting away to a spot where you can just relax and kind of refresh and just get a reprieve from what's been happening in all these
Mm.
dark, cold days, and look for something fun and something good. And then it gives you just some new energy to make it through the rest of the winter and look forward to what's to come because now you have some goals in place and some things to work on. So it's
Yeah.
it's really been good for us the last 5 years, man.
Love
Yeah, it's
that.
been wonderful. And it's crazy that we've been married for 5 years and we got a kid now. It's
Yeah.
life is changing. Life
No
is
doubt.
changing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so good. So, do you have the worksheet you use? Like, did you take that from your pastor, or do you just kind of go and
No.
you already kind of know what you're going to talk about, and that's what? Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. No, we never actually have created a worksheet or taken a worksheet. We just have kind of talked about, every aspect of our life, all the way from, finances to faith to family to fitness to
Mm.
any other words I can think that start with the F, like that,
Food.
like we food, yeah, all of it, man. We incorporate that. So just like really, and it's like it's a freedom because even though you're married and this is like your best friend and your partner and you share everything, sometimes, you're still like a little intimidated to have those hard conversations because you don't want to upset the balance and you don't want
Hmm.
to offend and you don't want to, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I don't, maybe it's just because we only been married for 5 years. Maybe when you're married like 15 years, you don't care. You just say whatever. There's no filter left. But like, my wife's pretty sensitive. She's a delicate flower, man. And I got to be tactful about the way that I say
Sure.
stuff or think about it. And so having that space, I think, like I said, really creates that ability to be able to talk about some of these things and
Yeah.
not be awkward, weird, or feel like you're being attacked.
Yeah, right. Because you've already set the stage that this is where we're going to have these conversations. And I think, like anything, right? Like, even if you look at, and this is going to sound weird, it's a weird parallel, but even if you look at like leadership or management, like if someone sits down for a review, there shouldn't be
Hmm.
many surprises, right?
Right.
It shouldn't be like, oh, you did your job awfully. Like, I should already know kind of like that gauge. So when you're sitting down in that vulnerable state and you're asking, like, how have I been as a husband, these kind of things, the answer shouldn't be like, horrible, you have been awful, like I can't even believe you've done these things,
Yeah.
because those things are the gauge has already been kind of moving throughout the year, so you're able to make those adjustments on the go, so that when you sit down, you're just looking at it from a more introspective, deep way, rather
Yep.
than it feeling like it's going to be such hoisted attack. Because if we're doing this well, there are going to be those conversations along the way that's like, I need this from you, I need your support here, like we're not doing these things and we need to make sure that they're happening, etc. So you
Absolutely.
shouldn't sit down, just like if I, as a manager, I'm not going to sit somebody on my team down and be like, you know what, you suck. In their review, they're
Absolutely.
already going to know leading into that review.
Kind of where
So
you stand.
yeah, I
Yeah.
tell people all the time when I was, reviewing, especially with the YFC, and I'd sit them down for a review, like you already know what this is going to be. There shouldn't be any surprises here to you, because we've already had these conversations throughout. And now it's just like, hey, when I talk to you about this, thank you for correcting that. Or, hey, we
Yeah.
still didn't quite get there, but it's not a surprise to you. And I believe
Hmm.
that's good. That's good leadership. And so in our homes, we need to be having those conversations,
Yes.
like, and also, you know not holding those things in, so that when you come to the cabin, you're like, I've been waiting all year just to unload. Like, that's not healthy, right? That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. Especially as
Absolutely.
guys, we have a tendency to, like, we can kind of move off things faster, but we don't always talk about them. i'm
Yep.
i'm emotive. Like, I'm like the opposite. Like, my wife, she was military, and just her processing is different than my processing. And so, like, when we're having those conversations, wanting to make sure that, again, that I'm stewarding that time well, and that we're able to talk about those things, and process the emotion of it all. Not everyone's like that. And so it's like, but making sure that, especially as Christ followers in our marriages, that we're engaging in healthy communication, and we,
Yep.
we have to, like, our spouses are going to be our best friends. They're going to be the people we're walking with, and we need to be able to express the hard times and the good times. And it has to be a safe place to do that.
Yep.
I need to be able to have my wife say to me, you are not doing XYZ thing, and I really need you to step up here, and not take high offense to that. And early in our marriage, I'm taking high offense to that, because I'm like,
Absolutely.
whoa, like, what, and that was on me, because she wasn't wrong. And I think it's that twofold, where it's like, you're like, oh, one, I have to step up, and I'm not. And then the other part is you're defensive, because it
Yep.
feels like an attack. And so getting through that. And so, I mean, we're
Yep.
in our 11th year. And so, those dynamics have radically changed, because, something we would talk about early on in our marriage, like, I'm not your enemy. Right. So, like, you and I, we're gonna go before the Lord, and we're gonna figure out whatever we're going through. We're gonna walk with him, because you're not my enemy. And I say that
Absolutely.
same thing to our kids. You're not my enemy, and I'm not yours.
Yep.
Right. So even though you're having a hard time, I'm always gonna love you. We're gonna walk this out. We're gonna figure it out, because God's gonna help us in that moment. We're not each other's enemy, and we
Yep.
have to keep that in the forefront. So when we get met with criticism, or those kind of moments, that it's not like, like, what is going on? It's more of, okay, my starting point is you're not my enemy. I'm going to Philippians 4 that, right? I'm going to think about what is true, right, good, worthy, excellent of praise. And if I can't think of
Hmm.
anything, at least that is Jesus at the very least, right? Which is the most. Yeah. But it's like, if I can't, and so I'm going to think about those things, and then we're going to walk in that, where it's like, okay, my starting point is that my spouse, my wife, is not my enemy, and therefore we can get through whatever we got to get through, because
That's
we're,
right.
we're walking in the Lord. So
That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I
you said
love
it
that.
perfectly because I think I kind of hinted at it, but I'm glad that you drew that out because yeah, those conversations helped to keep me humble
Mhm.
in my marriage, but then also it's a barometer of how well I'm submitting to the Lord, right? Because it
Yeah.
tells us like we are supposed to love our wives as Christ loved the church. And so it's, sometimes it lets me know like, man, there's some things that I'm not submitting to the Lord under. And
Yeah.
so, like, as you start out by saying, being a good steward of our families, that's what I need to do. And so that's another huge benefit of these
Yeah.
conversations. And so I'm glad you said that. Yeah, man,
Yeah, praise
that
God.
couldn't be truer.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, and so Stephanie and I, we didn't go on a retreat. We've talked about doing that kind of stuff in the past. I think right now in this season, it wasn't even a possibility right now with everything going on.
You're on retreats every other weekend now.
Well, yeah, different though. Yeah, yeah.
Not
Mission,
marriage
mission,
retreats.
mission trips and
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, like, however, though, like we had that same kind of conversation in the beginning where it was really like, okay, I came to her and I've said it before in the past, and we were just kind of walking in where I'm like, sometimes I feel like as a family we're floating. Right, like
Mm,
we have a routine, we have things that are in place, but it feels like we're floating. There's something feels a little not disjointed. That's way too strong of a word, but it was like we need to tighten this up. And so like,
yep.
I basically sat down. I'm administrative. I know, like, sometimes people are like, yeah, you're sideways hat, you're very extroverted, and you're got a little hip hop swag, and that's all true. But simultaneously, by God's grace, like, I have an administrative gifting, so I'm very like details, and I'm not super spontaneous. Although my personality, people tend to think I am. I'm not. I can be, but I'm much more like scheduled and meticulous in that, and I like to know what's going on. I'm not a guy that cares for surprises so much. I'm not like talking surprise parties or whatever, but I mean, like, I just don't like surprises.
Yeah.
And so, I was talking to my wife, and I was like, hey, what if we really sat down? I said, if I'm at work and I'm a manager, I'm leading, or whatever the case is, I'm on the executive team, I schedule things out, not just for myself, but for the company, the organization, the team. And I was like, I've always done that. And I'm like, what's interesting is we haven't done that in our home, where it's like we
Mm,
literally like schedule things out so that there's no like ambiguity, and like we can kind of walk through this. This doesn't mean every day it's always going to look like our schedule, but this gives us targets, right? And
yep.
so we sat down and crafted a schedule from Sunday through Saturday. And so like we have every day has essentially that target, right? And so like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have a family Bible study at 8 a.m. We're doing our Bible study together, and then a prayer time. And then directly now we've started doing like family workout, right? So we do like little hit workouts together. And so
Nice.
we're doing our little exercise thing together
Nice.
as a family. And then after that, it's the boys go to homeschool. I go right into like work. I'm now work. Now I do my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5. So we're up early. So Stephanie and I have time in the morning, and we don't always hit this. Just depends on how nights go. But we try to wake up, get out of bed. We have maybe a prayer time, or like we're reading and studying or working on things. Like, this is just that time before the kids wake up that we have available to us. And so
Mm,
we seek. Ideally, you got a 5 to 7, but we're like 5:30 seems to be a little bit more of a consistent window we can hit. So you have that 5:30 to 7. We tell our boys they stay in their rooms until 7, and at 7 they can come down, and then they come down, they have their breakfast. We also, total side note too, but we've also like stopped doing cereal in our home for breakfast, and so now we've been getting focused on like healthier proteins and just things in the
oh,
morning, so
nice.
that our boys aren't starting the day with sugar and those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Huge.
yeah, but it's like also, and the other big thing for us was we also were like, we are going to do our absolute best to not use a microwave. And so we're like 4 weeks in, and the microwave has been used twice. And
Wow.
what I love about this is it causes us to slow down. It causes us to think about how like we reheat things. It causes like
Yep.
all this. That's a total side note, but it has been awesome. And I'll tell you what, when you're not using a microwave to heat up your food, even on a reheat, it tastes so much better. And like we're getting creative, and we got so not all air fryers are the same, right? So we got an
No,
air
they are
fryer.
not.
We got an air fryer that doesn't have all like the crud. Like, it's a nice little thing. And so like we're
Uh-huh.
utilizing that in like some different ways, and it's like a toaster oven and all this. And so we actually eliminated several appliances with this thing. but we just didn't want the microwave stuff. We're like, we want to start making those choices, but also like just having a schedule. So then the boys are doing homeschool, and they know from 9 till 11 they're in school mode. And then we used to do it where like, okay, keep doing your schoolwork, then have lunch. And we're like, it causes some tension, so let's go to 9 to 11, then we'll, then the boys can have lunch, and then at 11:30 they are then cleaning up after lunch, and then they have another hour of school, right, if necessary. Like they're all in different grades, so like Aiden's usually done, and then they do that, and then so then by like 12:30, 1 o'clock, they're done, and they can have some kind of like little bit of free time. But then at 1:30 to 2:30, and this is on most days, right, they have alone time. And so they go to their rooms, and they have this alone time where we sometimes just clean your room. Aiden's learning the guitar, my 6-year-old, so it's practicing his guitar, those kind of things. They have this alone time. But after alone time, it's kind of the carrot on the stick to help them do this. They're allowed to play the Switch, and we've given them an hour and a half. So from 2:30 to 4, they have time for the Switch. And this is kind of cool because it's a way to reward them. Like it's something they like to do, but it also helps them get through it. Because we're like, if your chores aren't done and your school's not done, that Switch time becomes school and chore time. And if you don't do your alone time, what I mean? Like, so now you kind of have a little bit of that. And then after that, it's get ready for dinner, no TV, no screens. So our screens and TV ends at 4. So they're not like watching TV late in the evening. Again, barring exception, it's not a flawless system, but it's worked really well. And then what we do is family dinner. After dinner, we clean up the kitchen, like try and do it all together and get everything set there. And then we go into one-on-one time. And so what we're doing with our boys is we're meeting with them one-on-one. So like Stephanie will have one boy, I'll have the other. And then the third one is getting ready for bed. And that might mean they're taking a shower and that kind of stuff, or they're just getting ready for bed and then they're winding down in their room. And then we rotate. And so we literally have it written down, who starts with who starts with mom, who starts with dad, who's on that, like for every day. And so this gives us that one-on-one time with our boys, which is that building of relationship and really being able to pour into them. But so we're just like, okay, now it's like, yeah, they're not talking about deep things. They're 9, 8 and 6. They're not like pondering a ton, but we're building in this time and this relationship, and they love it. They are like looking forward to it. They can't wait. They're like, oh, tonight I start with dad. Oh, it's so good. And so like they get that time. And again, most nights, right? Some of our days look a little different just given what's on the calendar, schedule, blah, blah, blah. But we're building that in. And what I love is that the boys, they want to play games. They want to sit down and play board games. So we play board games. And my oldest, he likes some of the heavier stuff. So we might use one night to teach it and then the next night to play it, or like, whatever. And so like we're spending our half-hour time like learning the game or playing the game. And so I'm getting a lot of plays in with my boys, and then they like to go, they like to learn it and then go and teach my wife. And so they'll teach her how to play it, and so she'll still be like, I need the rule book, I don't know what they're talking about, but they want to play, or they'll do like a craft with Stephanie, or they'll do like some like science experiment because she loves to like, I mean, she's the things that have blown up in our kitchen. No.
She's a female Bill Nye.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's awesome. I came home one day and there was just like foam and stuff everywhere. I was like, "What happened?" She's like, "Well,
you guys made flubber without me."
The experiment did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I'm like, clearly, but so like that was a while back. But like, so they're doing that kind of stuff, and we're just able to have that time so that in the future it's built in, so that like if they know that like, hey, tonight I'm going to have some alone time, like one-on-one time with dad. So like I'm going to talk to him about XYZ thing, or I can ask those questions. And so we're just leaning into that and talking through, and then it's then it's just transition into bedtime because they've already all gotten ready for bed. And we have 3 boys, so when they get ready for bed by themselves, it's a remarkably different thing than when they're getting ready for bed by all together. So it slows everything down. But what's also really good in this is that alone time. Now my wife has her alone time. I'm in the basement working. Like I work from home now with LTN, and I mean, so I'm working, but I'm there obviously if stuff starts to go, I can come in and support my wife and and help her in that way. So it's like I'm working during that process, but that alone time, then Stephanie gets a breather, and then when the kids come downstairs to play Switch, like I'm down there working, but they're on the other side of the basement and they're playing the Switch, or we said that that's also a time where you could watch a show, like however you want to use that time. These are your options. And so then she has another hour and a half, so she gets that 2.5 hours where it's just she can breathe a little bit and be able to do some of the things that she wants to do, or things that maybe need to get done in the house that she wanted to handle, or whatever it is. And man, I will tell you, it has changed the dynamic in our home exponentially. It's removed the ambiguity. The kids like it because they know what to expect. They understand it more. So it's not like, there's no anxiety for them because they like, okay, cool. Like this. And if there's ever a change to schedule, we tell them in the morning, hey, today we're not able to do this. Or like when I go to North Carolina, well, like I said, we'll be back when this airs. But, hey, the schedule is going to look a little different because, here's, it's just mommy will be home. Daddy will be on a trip. And so, but again, also part of the driving thing is like I'm traveling a lot more, and I don't love to travel, and two, I don't love to be away from my family. Those are two things I don't love, but God is stretching me and calling me into this space, and I'm going to be obedient. But it also puts it heavy on my heart to be like, yo, we're going to maximize the time we do have so that when I'm home and I'm not traveling on a trip, like my boys feel heard, seen, loved, cared for. My wife feels loved, seen, heard, cared for, because these things are built in so that we're doing this stuff together and not just floating. And I'll tell you, man, like it has invigorated me. It has invigorated my wife and my boys, and it's just centered and focused. Our Bible study times are phenomenal. Like it's just been really great. And I spent a lot of time talking there. Sorry, but like
it's all good stuff though. I think that to that, I was just thinking in terms of like the biblical comparison, man, it's amazing because what I hear you saying is that you set parameters, like you set guidelines of what you're going to do, and your family is flourishing because of that, because they know what to expect. They're inside the guidelines that you have set, and you're getting the time well spent together. And that just makes me think about like God and the Bible and his word to say like, here's the parameters I set for you. Here's the time that I expect. This is how you can flourish if you stay within these. And that's what you did, like, as a good steward of the man of your house, and as protector and provider, and as the father and husband, like you did that. You took the biblical parameters and you put them in your home, and now it's like it's blossoming because of that, man. And so it's so good just to hear that, and to think, even as an encouragement for me, like, man, where are the parameters that my Father in heaven has set for me, and where can I meet him just like that and spend that time where I can be flourishing as well, and see that change in my life, man. No, that's all great stuff, and worthwhile for sure.
Yeah, and it's dope because we're trying to like do like less sugars and like that kind of stuff. So like we have literally got ice cream Sunday. So our kids look forward to like after Sunday dinner ice cream, right? So like they can have ice cream on Sunday, so it's ice cream Sunday, right? Just easy to remember. And so they look forward to it, right? Where it's like, yo, guys, we're not eating all that during the week. Like we'll have ice cream Sunday, and I tell them if you eat an ice cream that already has like chocolate or stuff in it, like candies in it, we're not adding other candy, but they have some of their candy bag, and so they're like, well, if we eat vanilla, if you eat vanilla and you want to throw your Kit Kat in there, like by all means,
free for all.
Right? Like you can add that stuff in, but it's just again, it's that system. So like there's a few things in there that they could potentially lose, but what I love about this is they'll never lose that one-on-one time. And I think what one of the cool things in that is that our boys will always know that even if I had the worst day, I'm going to be able to spend time with dad. I'm going to be able to spend time with mom. That will not go anywhere. Like even if I've had the worst day, that time is sacred. And so like, yep, I lost the switch because I punched my brother in the face. I'm just saying it how it is. 3 boys. I lost the switch today because I did that. But I'm gonna have that time with dad, and dad's gonna talk to me about why I punched my brother in the face. But we're also gonna throw down on a game, and it's gonna be a good time. And so like, yeah, just making those sacred spaces, and I think that's ultimately what you and I are both saying. Like in the realm of like, these things are important, they matter, and they help, because we are in a world that obviously certainly doesn't love Jesus, but also doesn't love the family unit, because when families come together, like I've shared my philosophy of ministry a bunch of times, but even like my little bit of a formula where it starts in your home, homes impact communities, communities impact states, states impact nations, nations impact the world, right? Like it starts in your home. And this is essential. And so we ought be raising up our families to live boldly for Jesus. And that means we have to be intentional. I see nothing but intentionality in the scripture, right? Like when Jesus is sitting at the table at the Last Supper, he was intentional. He got up. He was reclining. It says reclining at the table, like they're chilling. It's a powerful word. He gets up, right? And I think we've talked about this on a previous episode. Just it's powerful. But that intentionality of Jesus serving, where he's like, I'm going to get up. I'm going to intentionally gird my loins here, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to take the water, and I'm going to wash feet. Like that's intentional. And it's all over the scripture. God was intentional in his creation. He's been intentional in his plan. He was intentional in sending Jesus, right? Like all of this is intentionality. And so the more we don't do that, the more we can float and we can flounder, or it feels okay. Like, no, nothing bad's really happening. So we don't, that comfort can also drive us into the lack of parameter. And so that comfort can be super dangerous, but it's like, if we would just structure a little bit here, be more intentional, we can get out ahead of those. Cause if everything hits the fan and you've been cruise control, it hits the fan almost like doubly, right? Like it's not like, oh, we have this. It's let's use a metaphor, right? Like I love how Paul always says, I'm speaking in human terms, because like this is the kind of thing. If you don't have a rainy day fund and it rains financially, then all of a sudden you feel that pressure double because you're not there. It's like, whoa, I don't know what to do. I'm already financially behind, and now this thing happened and I don't have any way to get it. And that anxiety and the pressure that comes from that. Comfort can do the same thing. Right. It doesn't have to be, I don't have this. It's, I do have it. And so therefore I'm fine and I'm coasting, versus that. No, I still, in my comfort, I need to be incredibly intentional so that if it does hit the fan, there's already those things set in place that we've been practicing. Because I told Stephanie, it's like, even if we don't hit the schedule, the cool thing is we have a target. We have a readjust point. So it's like, oh man, like we're a little off. Well, we can readjust. Like today, the alone time was a little later because we went out to lunch with our pastor, and I was like, and the boys were literally like, we have to get home. We have to do alone time because after the alone time, we get the switch. That's their thought process. They're like, we're late.
It's ingrained now.
Yep. And so it was like, cool. I was like, guys, we're going to adjust it. So we're going to come home from lunch. We're going to do our ice cream, and then we'll have alone time from 3 to 4. And what they didn't know, which was really cool, is that Stephanie had been talking with one of their friends' moms, and she's like, hey, have them come over at 4. So the boys got to see their friend that they hadn't seen in a little bit because of Christmas and all this stuff. And so they are like, they're thrilled. So they have their alone time, and then their friend's there, and it's like, you want to bless your kids that way. Right.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's because they did the thing. But it is, we've been going here, and we hope that it's an encouragement, but
and I want to add to that at the end, just that, what you're saying there, like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And that as we're talking through, when we're talking about the beginning of the year, that we're both casting vision for our family, and we want it, what we want it to be. And that, like in the scripture, it says that my people perish for lack of vision, and that as the people of God, as followers of Christ, like we should always have vision for where we should be going and what we're trying to strive to. If we're talking about sanctification, we never arrive there until we're in glory with God. And so I feel like our lives should kind of be on that same level of like, man, we should always be striving to do better, especially when we're talking about our family and growing closer to God and bringing our family and steward them, that there should always be preparation and planning and what can we do better to grow closer individually together and under the umbrella of God in our life, so
100%. Yeah. Cause you're not going to stumble into sanctification accidentally. Right. This is walking with Christ. This is relationship. This is intentionality. You're not, yes, God can do anything. Right. But this is built on intentionality. Yeah. Like, I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to work through this. We're going to get there because I'm walking with Jesus. And this is that walk. Walking is a verb. It's an intentional thing. I have to put the shoes on and actually move forward. And so, you're not going to stumble into that. And it's funny. You said a vision board. This is the first year I've actually made a vision board. I'm normally like I'm a goals guy. more so, and I'll have like a plan, but I've never really done like a vision board. And I actually this year did my first, not like our
Nice.
family. I mean, some of it
Yeah.
has the family elements in it, but I just had so many things going on that I was like, Lord, like, what do I want these things to be? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that I want these to be? Because there's a lot of hats, there's a lot of different things, and I need to really make sure that I'm organized and focused and have a vision, that this isn't just Joe like throwing darts at a wall with everything with LTN, with the things that we got going with Meek Heroes Gaming, with just, again, family stuff and just wanting to be more healthy. And like, I'm like, there's just so many different things. So it's like, how do I get a hold of that? Well, I'm like, okay, I can write goals down. That's cool. I got those. But I also am like, I want to have some vision. What do I want to see at the end of the year? And
Yeah.
really frame it that way. I want to see XYZ thing by the end of this year. So that's where I'm going. And so, yeah, so love that. Man, that was good. See, like, you know, again, we really we hope that this is of benefit. I know it's a board gaming podcast, and so, you know, it'll ebb and flow. We always try to spice it up. Like, sometimes you get a lot of board game heavy content. Sometimes you're gonna get this.
Sometimes you're gonna get Skittles. You
right?
Never know. Man.
You never know. And but again, we just want it to, you know. I think sometimes we felt like, man, we're just tacking some of the stuff on at the end, or we're not spending the time we want to, because we're like, oh, we got 20 minutes and now we want to talk about this. That conversation we just had was not going to happen in 20 minutes, right? You know, and so we want to make sure that we're having those, and hopefully, like, you're encouraged. And it doesn't have to be January 1st to do these kind of things. Like, you wake up tomorrow, that's a great time to start. If you're like, you know what, I heard that, and I'm like, maybe I need to start leaning in. Or if you have questions, like, hit us up. We haven't even mentioned it today, the CBG loot drop at gmail.com. This is where you can tell us your tabletop testimonies, games you want us to play, because we want the pick your play kind of thing. And people have been sending games in, which is really cool.
Yeah, wonderful.
And we're behind on that email, the holidays, and getting all that stuff set up. So, like, we'll get back caught up. But also, if you got questions and you're like, hey, I heard you guys say this on your podcast, I'd love to learn more, hit us up, cbglootdrop at gmail.com. And so, yeah, so that's good.
And if you want to see Joe's dope collection of games, you got to jump over to YouTube and check us out there, so you can see all the games that he has behind him. There's new stuff on the shelf all the time, and you never know what's going to be there. So if you do make it to YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, so that you know, it just helps us out. And tell somebody, if you enjoy this podcast, if you like listen to it, if you find benefit in it, if you think we're just two goofy dudes and you're like, these dudes are crazy, you need to check them out, please tell somebody. Let them know about the podcast, so that they can be entertained by our banter as well, because you never know where we're going to go. Maybe they like Skittles. Maybe they want to hear about Puxatony Phil. Maybe they don't know about household idols. Who knows? But you know, let them know, man. So we appreciate you guys for listening, and all our audience out there. We love you guys, and we do it for you and to the glory of God, man, that He may be glorified through all of it. So
no doubt. And this isn't all my collection. Some of it goes down that way. You can't see all of it.
Oh, it wraps around the corner.
It's
like
actually, no, that's wrong. It does actually wrap around the corner, because I gave my boys like their own shelf, and then I have like my 2-player games.
There's shelves on shelves on shelves down there.
I actually have I reorganized, so I have a shelf of games that I own that haven't played, and this year has been very intentional about, I'm going to play these games more than like buying other games. Plus I have like Kickstarters that are still out there that I'm waiting to fulfill. So like, I'm gonna have way too many, like, I don't need that. And then I gotta, you know, so I have a shelf here that's like organized that has all the games that I have.
It is well organized, I must say. Yeah,
I try. People give me a hard time because I'm a horizontal rather than a vertical layout. But I got one vertical game right there.
Yes,
but right there, everything else.
There's a place for it.
Yeah,
there's a place for all your books.
All your books. Right, yeah. So yeah, games. All right. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time here talking about games. Ray and I got to play Echoes of Time and Explorers of Dave Navoria. Dave Navarro. So no,
I actually wrote down Explorers of Navarro in my notes, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's not the game. That's not the game.
Not the game. It's not the game at all. What are we talking about? It's Explorers of Navoria. Navoria, not Dave Navarro. And so, that's good. Some of you will get that reference. Some of you won't. It's cool. But we did get those to the table, and we kind of paired them together because they're both unique. They're different in how they play. And they both have a completely different, they within themselves play completely different. But we let out with Explorers of Navoria. and love the way that game looks, man. It
Yeah.
is like super colorful. Love the
Yep.
art. It reminded me a lot of like a Cartoon Network show. Like when I look at it, it
Yeah.
looked like Chowder a little
Yeah,
bit,
exactly.
which
That
was
was my
fun.
first impression was like,
Yeah.
this looks like something that was on Cartoon Network. It
Yeah.
reminded me that it almost had like a little bit of a Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
kind of feel with some of the characters too. I could see that like there was some influence there maybe with some of it, but yeah, it was the way it looked was great.
Yeah. And so and then the way the game plays, I like again, I think there's some like uniqueness to it. You basically have these cards that are laid out by type, and you're trying to essentially create a tableau. You're going to play the game until you have 12 cards. And what's nice about it is I draw into this bag and I can take two tokens, and those I can pick one of those tokens, place it on a deck that matches the token, and then draft one of the cards that are in there. Or if there's already tokens, like the second token you put in the middle of a space there, and if there's already tokens there, I could choose to just take a token from the middle and place it on there and not pull from the bag at all. And then once the drafting goes through and everyone has 4 cards, you actually then get to do this other phase where you can take the tokens that are on decks, and then you take those tokens and you place them on like rewards,
Center,
like yeah, in the
yeah,
center place.
it's
It's
on the
got
center of
different
the
rewards.
board that has, yep, that corresponds to the
The
different
tokens.
areas on your player mat that
Yep.
match up with your cards, but in a different fashion.
Yeah, and then you've got these tracks that you're going on, and you're able to get rewarded for them. And on your player mat, you're trying to build out these like posts, like these trading posts, as you're exploring. And then that way, you're kind of unlocking some upgrades. And then also, when you have to reset things, you go back to your furthest trading post, so it'll help keep you further up because the further up you are on the tracks, the more points you can get. And just a lot of really fun stuff in it. Like the mechanic itself was really cool. The
Yeah.
only thing it can be a little challenging, and it was funny. Someone noted our different layouts in the picture we took. They're like, "Man, Ray's is all like nice and diagonal. He's got all his cards like laid out," and they're like, "Yours is just kind of like in this like pattern." And I'm like, "Yeah," because there was really no good way. Because you have some cards that are going to give you income, some cards that are going to give you like special bonuses and different things. Hi, cat.
Sorry. I was
Yeah, I love how you told your
I,
cat no, and I was
I was
like,
trying to tell him no. He didn't listen. All right,
"No,
man.
you're good."
I'm recording. You gotta
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. So, but it's like, so like you have these different things that are going on the cards. There's different ways to move up on things. There's instant effects. There's income effects. There's end game points, and so you kind of have to track where you're going. And all the cards have icons, and then the icons are going to trigger certain things. Oh, when I have 5 of this type, I get this. Some of the cards are
Yeah.
going to give me those bonuses for certain things that I have. So you're trying to like maximize. It's really a cool point salad. Ray smoked me, which is no surprise. Um, that was even a comment on one of the Facebook posts where like, man, we got to find you someone else to play with because Ray's just beating you up. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's cool. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was a
I did too.
very fun play.
Yep. Yep.
It was
I did too.
satisfying.
And it was so one of the things I really like, you mentioned ways to get all the points. Like it just seemed like everything that you did garnered you points to some degree. It was like every second move, every third move, like we were just getting points. And so it wasn't some like long drawn out things to add up points at the end of the game and everything. And you just, we were in the hundreds by the time that we were done. And a lot of ways to get points quickly and easily. And so there's not really I'm out of the game, if you feel like somebody's far ahead because you can get
Hmm.
points in so many different facets. I like how you talked about the bag and you're choosing 2 different icons out of the bag, 2 different little nice wooden. They
Yep.
really felt good. These like
Yep.
little wooden pieces that corresponded to the certain decks, and that is going to give you whichever deck you can pick from, and the selection of one of the cards that are up there. But then when you were teaching the game, I thought we were just going to be done with it. So it was cool when you came back and actually used the second
Yeah.
pieces to put on the board to go to that other space to build out our player mat, which was really great. I just love all the mechanics of the game, how everything is used in that game and nothing goes to waste. And like you said, you create the checkpoints as you're exploring the different lands, going up and trying to get to the chest. And but what was really cool to me was I thought that were like pro at this game because of the way that you taught it. It was
Yeah.
such a quick, easy teach that you were like, this is what you do. This is this thing. This is what this means. Let's get into it. But then I found out that you were like, nope, I just learned it like 5 minutes before you got here, and I just figured it'd be easy to teach, and like it was. So
Yeah.
like the ability to get into the game
Mhm.
is like super low. Like it's
Yeah.
I think what they have it rated at 2.27 out of 5 on BGG, but like so it'd be midweight or something like kind of lightweight, mid to
Yeah.
lightweight, but like the game really felt super lightweight to me. Like I feel
Yeah.
like anybody could get into it, very accessible and a fun game. It was great with 2 people. It plays up to 4. I imagine with 4 players, there's a little more tension, resources wise, and but it's fun. That's another one that like I definitely would love to play again, and
Yeah.
wouldn't hesitate playing. If that's what we played for the next 2 weeks, like I would enjoy it.
Yep.
So
Yeah, the only complaint I had is that the board itself was a little bit of a thin cardboard, so it had a little bubble in it, and I just couldn't flatten it out. I liked the game enough to where someone had suggested the expansion, so I was like, you know what, down the line, I think that's something I'll grab. I got the game at a really good deal, which was awesome. So it's like I'm always trying to you know bargain shop. That's just something that I like to do. It's almost like a hunt. It's like looking for a CD in the 90s. So I got a really good deal on the game. So it was like, maybe that'll happen again with the expansion. And then they have a neoprene mat, which would kind of solve the board problem, which I
oh
think
yeah,
would probably
nice.
be a good idea.
Didn't you
I
say you just like bought it on a whim? Like you saw it and
well,
you're like, oh,
yeah,
this
I
looks kind
had
of cool.
I had had my eye on it when it first came out because I really liked the art style. I just didn't make the jump into it, right? Like I didn't do any kickstarting or any of that. I just saw it and was like,
Yeah.
wow, I really like the way that looks. At this point, I'm not going to jump in. And then I had gotten some money at Christmas, and it was like a gift that was basically, it was like you can only get something for yourself, and it was very intentional in the gift itself. And so
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, hey, this is a great deal. The game sparked my interest. The more I read up on it, the more I was like, you know what, this sounds like something I'd want to play. I don't really have any other games that I would consider in the same, like there's similarities, but it was like it's different enough where I'm like, I'm not buying the same game
Right.
as something else. And so I just did it, and I have really enjoyed it. But I've heard the
Yeah.
expansion is really good, and it adds a little bit more variability. Because
Oh,
someone did
nice.
say like, hey, like what were your thoughts? Because like they're like I played it a bunch, and then it sort of just wore off its welcome, and I ended up getting rid of it. And I could see that, like, you're gonna get, like, it's not a heavy game, right? So it's light, it can get it to your table. But if you're playing it every once in a while, I think for me it has shelf power because I like the way it looks. And like you said, quick and easy teach. It's a good entry level game in my mind, where there's also still strategy, so people have to think, but it's not
Yep.
so intense where they're gonna stare at it for like 15 minutes and be like, what do I do? What am I doing?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I really like the game. Again, simple and enjoyable, and and the teaching thing, Ray. It's like by God's grace, I've just gotten a lot better at teaching games. Or you just learn how to do it and kind of walk through the process. And so,
Right.
um,
No, yeah, you did a great job.
uh,
The other cool thing about the game is the artist is the same
yep.
guy as
The,
the designer.
yeah, yeah.
Don't always see
You
that.
said the same guy, like as who, Ray? The same guy as who? He's the same
The
guy that
designer
designed
and the
it. Yeah,
artist are this one
yeah.
and the same.
They are the
Yeah.
same people, which I do think
Yeah.
was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like,
sweet.
yep, it just has a really cool look. I really enjoyed it.
Hmm.
Love the colors, and so it's
Yep.
it's a lot of fun. And so then right after that, another game that I would put in the light to midweight category is Echoes of Time, and
Hmm.
I actually picked this one up. It's going to be at our hot games table at Tantrum Con, and again you'll get this the episode after we're back. So I'm really hoping people enjoyed it. I actually learned about it through Will from Tantrum House, and he had put it on his top 5. And as he was explaining it, I was like, man, I really like the mechanic of that. And what it is like you have this tableau, and you have these moving tiles that move through the tableau, and they all have these like fire icons that are on the top of them, and everything's about timing. It has 5 timing slots, and you're trying to play cards out of your hand, and so you have cards in your hand, but the currency to play those cards is cards. So you might have a card that you discard 3 cards to actually be able to play it, and then I play it in a time slot that it says 1 through 5, or if it says 0, I can actually play it to what's known as like your fellowship. But I play it onto the time slot, and then I have these actions I can do where I can draw more cards, or I can move move a card on the time thing, over some slots. I can either choose, to do one card, two spaces, or two separate cards. And so you can move them off, and you're trying to do all this, and then you can trigger these actions on your turn depending on whatever tile, because you have 6 tiles and there's 5 slots. So whatever tile is off of the board currently, that tells you what you can activate as free actions. And you're taking these actions and you're trying to get these sources of power and conquer them. When you conquer them, it gives you these bonuses and awards, and it's just, there's a lot going on, like from an iconography perspective. Art is insanely cool, but I really like the timing mechanic. I like the fact that the cards are currency. I like that I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get this timed out so that I'm going to be able to activate this free thing to be able to do all this. And this was the difference between you and I in this game. I won this one, and you were like, man, I went for this card that I thought was going to be super cool, and I only got to activate it once. And you went for these cards that, like, you went for the blue ones, which you can activate a lot more, and you just got to do more things on your turn. And that's because I had played it before, and I had noted that early on, where I'm like, man, if I'm going to play a card that has, so like on your board, you have 3 blue flames, 2 yellows, 1 red, I think, right? Yes.
I
Yep.
think that's
So that's
right.
6. And then, and so like when I first played, I'm like, oh man, this card's going to be dope. And you play it down, and then it comes off, and you're like, I activated it one time. I didn't even get to do that. So my next strategy when I played with you was like, I'm just going to try this. This makes sense. And so I went heavy on the light blues, and I just got to do a lot more. They're not as powerful, but you can create a lot more,
Yep.
synergies and those kind of things within that. And so,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you were getting a lot of free actions from that because I initially didn't understand that there's a lot more moving pieces in this one, literally. And so it was took me a little minute to try to figure out because you kept saying you were like, yeah, you can create some synergies in here if you get these things,
yeah.
and I just didn't quite understand it because there was a lot of iconography within the game, and then trying to figure out because it's you get 2 moves basically,
Yep.
right? Like you get
2
one and
actions.
then 2 actions, and then it's kind of the end of the phase, and then you move your stuff up to tableau if there's anything. You move your slide the rest of them over, and trying to draw cards was hard, and I'm trying to balance like how many
Mm-hmm.
cards that I have and playing cards to spend. It was just a lot to take in initially, but overall was fun. I enjoyed it, and would like to play it again because I think that that's a game that once you play it and have a better
Yep.
understanding when you play it again, like you said, you'll probably do better the next time because then you're like, okay, I see how these synergies. I kind of get the iconography more. I can figure out what I can discard on my hand to keep and how to move these things up better. Because after I got done, I was like, I would have made a couple different decisions if I
Yep.
would have known. But still fun. I think it takes a little more to get into than Explorers of Navoria, but yeah, still fun and very unique. Like I hadn't played a
Yeah.
game like that. And then I noted at the end of the game, like because there's pictures on the background of each one of those time cards, so
Yeah.
it has like waterfalls and mountains and trees and stuff. And I was like, when I moved it off of the board, each individual one off of the mat, I was like, wait a minute, there's a picture here, and I was like, wait, are we supposed to set it
Yeah.
up like this?
Yeah.
And there was like, yeah, set these ones up like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then
We had set it up a
essentially,
little wrong. Yeah.
so we but it was kind of cool though. I didn't mind it because
Yeah.
we both randomly set up our time cards on our mat so they didn't match up. So when your blue came off, my yellow maybe came off, which would
Yeah.
have created a different synergy, which would I think would be a fun variant of the game
It
of what the
worked.
rules say because it works still, yeah. And then you create a little difference, and you're not on the same whatever flame color at the same time, but still yeah, fun. The art on that school, it had a little bit of that like even as you were talking about it, talking about the fellowship and like the
Yeah.
power and all
Oh
that stuff. I
yeah.
was like it has a little bit of the Lord of the
Oh,
Rings
for
vibe
sure.
to it.
Yeah.
Even with the like there was a ring card
Yep.
in one of them,
Yep.
and it's like
And they're anthropomorphic animals, right? Like,
yeah,
so it's got like Everdell meets Lord of the Rings. The artwork is
yeah,
sick, though. It
it
is
is.
really, really well done.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's that the what What are the things in the middle? So there's two cards, well, based on the two-player game.
The sources, yeah. So there's one
The
per player, and
sources.
you're
Yeah.
trying to conquer them by having more strength in your fellowship, and then you tuck those under there, and then now you can't access the powers that they have, so you kind of time that out, and then you can fortify it. So you can conquer the source and then fortify it, but you can battle the other person. So like Ray and I went back and forth and kind of battled for a certain source a couple times, and then it was like, so there's a tension in I really want to load this up, because I need, in order to get it from me, they have to get higher strength than I have. So I'm gonna like really lean in on this one and load it up, and then fortify on one of my turns,
Yeah.
and so
And it takes
yeah,
a lot to get your cards up to the fellowship. It's not like just
yep,
every turn you're building out your fellowship. It's like it takes a while because you're spending those cards and you're waiting for that time
mm-hmm,
clock to move for them to come off to be able to move up.
yeah,
And so if you're trying to buy or fortify one of those and or
yep.
conquer it or beat the other person, like that's a large investment
Yeah,
there.
because you
So
have to literally you may have to literally spend an action to move a card off. Like you're like, I'm spending it. It's not the action I wanted because I really needed cards, but in order
yeah.
to do this, I really need these guys off because they're going to get me some stuff that I can now activate, and but also like I need to move on trying to conquer this this source or whatever. Yeah, the more I play it, the more I like it. There's a lot more to explore. I think the game is very fun. It has a little bit more of a learning curve just because of the timing, and the mechanic is unique. I thought. I'm sure there's other
Hmm.
games out there that are like it, but I have not played them, which was another reason why I was interested in it, because as I was hearing Will talk, it was like his number 5 of 2025, but I was like, man, I love the sound of the mechanics. And then the more I looked into it, watched the how to play video, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my kind of game. Like I like this kind of stuff. And so again, it's not like anything else on my shelf. So it made sense to go and to pick that up. And so
Yeah.
yeah,
Both
very,
good
very cool.
plays.
Yeah, I definitely want to play them again.
Hmm.
You know, and I'm still trying to. I got to teach my. I want to teach my boys. Dave Navarro. No, I don't want to teach them that. I want to teach them Explorers of Navoria because we haven't played it yet as a family. So
Oh yeah, I think
looking
I love
forward.
that.
Yeah, looking forward to doing that. So yeah, man. Well, we went well over our time, which is totally cool. It's the first episode of season 5, man. Episode
Yeah.
40. This is episode 42 of season 5, but it's
That's
really
right.
episode 1. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a lot more games we're going to be playing this year. I've jumped into the digital space with BGA.
Woo, let's go.
A little bit. I'm not. I don't understand this whole like turn-based stuff. I'm much more like real
Oh
time.
my gosh, let me tell you.
But
So way back, I don't even know where we were in season 4 when I said, "Hey, I finally jumped on
yeah,
BGA. I started playing, and like me and Bill played a game together." And uh, since then, I have been playing a game of Ticket to Ride. Like, dude, literally today when I got on there, it just said we're in the final round. It's been like 3 months that we've been playing this
nope.
game of Ticket to Ride, this
I
turn
can't.
based.
I can't do
Yeah,
it. I
so
can't.
so you have that to look forward to.
Nope. I have not. I have only played real time, which was a lot of fun actually.
Oh man,
And
yeah,
then my brother, it turns out, is on he does a lot on BGA, and he likes real time. He doesn't like the turn based stuff, and he's in
yeah, I can
California,
see that.
and we don't get to hang out a lot. So I was like, dude, like we should hop on and and get to actually like chat and really cool. I mean, he's not currently following Jesus, but we had a really dope conversation the other day. It was really awesome. And so just I don't
Nice.
know, man, I love my brother obviously and want to hang out and be able to play games with him. And so it's a cool way for us now to be able to use board gaming again to just bridge a relational gap and be able to hang out and stuff. And so I'm
Yeah,
very
that's
much
sweet.
looking forward to that. But yeah, real time for
What
life, bro.
what's your what's your name on BGA so that the people
It
can invite you to their turn-based game over the next 6 months?
Are you ready for this? It's just
Yeah.
Christian board gamers. That's literally the
What?
name that is on there. Yeah,
That's original.
totally. I don't even know where that came from.
Where'd you come up with that? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, so
nice.
it's simple
Okay.
enough. But you can send me turn-based stuff all day. I will hit the decline button. No, I'm sure I'll do it eventually. It's just not where I'm at. But
Yeah.
hey, we just thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this first episode. We hope that it was a blessing to you. Again, hit us up at cbglootdrop@gmail.com, cbglootdrop@gmail.com. But as always, man, we want to leave you with Matthew 5:16 to let your light shine before others so they may see your good works and glorify glorify our Father who is in heaven. And so I haven't recited that in a while. I normally do it right off my memory. Did I hit that all right? Like,
I think so. It sounded good to me.
yeah, who knows? It's episode 1. Trying.
Hey, maybe you're just trying to get people to jump into their Bible to make sure that
yeah,
you're
it's a cross-reference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I like
doubt.
that tactic.
There you go.
Get that word, people.
That was it. I'll support you 100%. But the gist of it is let your light shine before others so they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. I'm pretty positive that's exactly it. I've said it 100 billion. It's actually 42 times because of 42 episodes on this. But hey, thank you all so much. We hope that you are doing well, and God bless.